Up Wilmington. Yeah, I started. I'm on now. See, I see me. We're right there. Now, I tell you what, the panel is about as good looking as it can get today. We got a man in uniform, Mr. Jeff Madden from the Ohio State Patrol.
Hello.
And even if you had tickets or anything before from the Ohio State Patrol, don't hold it against him. He is one man. That's it.
Have to grab his mic here.
You know, and when you get ready to talk, yeah. All right, it is 50 degrees, which that's good. We're actually above our minimum temperature of 48, which sometimes it's funny. We'll come in here and we'll say minimum temperature of 48, but it's 42.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Microsoft, guys. How old's Microsoft? What do you think?
Oh,
It's their birthday today.
Microsoft,
40 years old.
40? Higher.
45.
Higher.
Really?
62.
Way too high.
I mean, way too high. We said 40 what?
5.
Well, that's not a big jump.
So what do you think?
I'm gonna say 50.
We have a winner right there.
Oh, really?
See, that's why he's in uniform.
That's
See
right.
that right there.
Got all the answers.
50. Yesterday, the stock market took a little hit because of our tariff policy. Only $2.5 trillion in losses yesterday from the top 500 companies. S&P fell almost 5%. 80% of the S&P finished in the red yesterday. 90 countries were involved in the tariff deal. And yet, when I hear him talk about it, I'm like, it makes sense to me. I mean, if you're, tit for tat, you tariff us, and we're not even tariffing back at the full percent. Like if it's 10%, we're doing the 10%. But let's say somebody's doing 30%, we're not doing 30 back. We're doing 15. We're doing half. And I think the whole idea is to negotiate. And I think some countries will come to the table and negotiate, and some it's going to hurt them as much as it could hurt the United States. But we'll see how it plays out.
thing that got me is oil prices dropped. I think 67 a barrel, and I noticed this morning gas back 329.
Yeah. We got down Washington Courthouse, and you see a lot of this because now in your job you do still patrol, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You see, it's amazing sometimes the difference between like Hillsborough, Washington Courthouse, and Wilmington, just the gas prices.
Oh yeah, I
On the
see it
same
all the time.
day. Washington Courthouse the other day, I should have got gas over there, but I was thinking, well, if it's starting to go down over here, and maybe it'll go down Sabina or on. But it was $2.90 Tuesday when I was over there. So, but yeah, it didn't go down here. It's still $3.20, $3.29, $3.22. One other thing that's interesting about these 90 countries, there's several countries that are on the list that are uninhabitable. So we're tariffing penguins in some countries. Which is kind of funny if you think about it. Amazon is getting ready to offer a Starlink competitor next week. Don't know the name. Well, yeah, Project Kuiper it's called. And so, I don't know, does State Patrol use Starlink or what do you guys use?
No, we don't. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly what we use, but I just know it's not Starlink. I can say that for sure.
Okay. And Jerry, I know you're, and Mark, probably Marky over here, Uncle Punky's more excited about this than anybody. The Minecraft movie starts tonight.
Yeah, I'll be sure.
I was made aware of that by my son.
How old is he?
He's 9.
Oh,
He's a Minecraft guy. He's pumped.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not. I mean, I know about that much about Minecraft.
Yeah, I'm on the same level with you.
But the ads I've seen for this movie looks like it could be fun to watch.
Yeah, they surprise you sometimes.
It looks like it could be a fun one to watch. We got Michelle Tebow watching, Dave Hurst watching. Dave, report in. He had some pretty good storm damage out there by Louisiana. Yeah, last night or a couple nights ago. Well, no, not the haunt, at his house.
Oh.
Looked like a motorcycle got tore up. Looks like a bunch of debris had been moved around. So, I don't know. What's that? Yeah, Joe Holder. Yeah. Yeah, he had to go work. He's got to go work on a house that lost something off the roof.
Goes Thursday.
I'm not sure exactly what it was. Wasn't the whole roof? No, it was like some kind of cap. But he's working on that today. All right. Well, it's kind of a slow news day, other than the weather. Did you see a lot of storm damage out yesterday?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was kind of funny. I was laying in bed and we heard the alarms go off. My wife's like, "You want to get the kids to go to the basement?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, I think we're good here." Ended up being a false alarm, thankfully, so that was a good thing. But I was driving down my street. I live down in the Mason area, and there were several trees that were down on roofs, and I mean there was a good amount of damage. But in terms of like this area around here in Clinton, Highland, and Fayette counties, guys coming in, I heard them stopping out with trees in the roadway and debris in the roadway, and I mean it's a pretty good amount of damage. You know, one of my troopers, he was out of power for about a day and a half because of the storm. So. Yeah, definitely widespread damage without a doubt.
Parts of Sabina was out yesterday too, and ours wasn't. Bunch of trees fell, bike is fixable. That's good. It was funny. We did a little show in the evenings on Thursday night, and as soon as we got done last night, the power went out.
It was good timing.
Yeah, but it wasn't good timing for the pizza place.
Right, right. At least for the show.
That's a good place y'all stop and eat sometime when you're out. If you're allowed to, you guys go out and eat on your lunch breaks.
Absolutely,
right? Right across from Yule's, or the IGA there in Sabina.
Yeah.
There's a place called Fresh Pizza and Cream.
Yep, I've driven by it.
You need to stop.
I'll check it out.
The food is really good. Pizzas are good, but I don't know if you like fried bologna sandwiches or not.
I don't know if I ever had one before, to be honest.
Too.
Is that right?
Friends of mine own it.
It's very good. It's very good. Plus, if you like ice cream at all,
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't?
They got banana splits about that size.
Oh, there you go.
There.
I gotta go try that.
Yeah, the banana split is big. It's $7, but it's worth the $7. I mean, it could be a meal almost itself.
That's not uncommon. I've paid more than that for one.
Yeah. Well, I'm just letting you know that's what it is. So don't go there and go, oh, it's high. No, it's not really high in today's world.
That's Charlie that goes in and says,
No,
$12 for a fish sandwich? Oh, no.
$12 for fish dinner. You got one every day for about 7 or 8. Yeah. Great Friday morning. Thank you for protecting us, Mr. Trooper.
It's very nice.
Jeff Madden. You probably know JD if you see a picture of him. Just kidding, JD. But the worst thing I can think he does, he's a Browns fan.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah,
that's an arrestable offense right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, that might be even felony. I don't know.
Now, I tell you what, you're on here today, and it's good because a lot of people, and take this way I'm saying it here the right way. A lot of people, unfortunately, only have that maybe once or twice meeting, and it's never in a very comfortable situation.
Yeah, absolutely, I get it.
And I tell you, one thing, if I was teaching state highway patrolmen or any law enforcement person on how to handle people, the first thing I tell them is watch Lost in Providence. Have you ever seen that show?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Watch it. Judge Frank Caprio, which he's got cancer now, he just because he's the same way, he approaches the court the same way. This might be the only time they get in there.
Right.
And he handles everybody with respect.
Right.
And kid gloves, and sometimes goes a little farther than what like the police would think to go. Mm-hmm. But it makes it a good experience.
Absolutely.
Where if a person does have to go back. Alan LeDuc, I called and left you a message the other day. Get back with me. So just realize that when you say, because I tell you, I've had state patrolmen stop me that have been great, mm-hmm. and I have had some that stop me, and it's been like,
right,
damn.
So that's where you're driving, Charlie.
I wasn't driving that. I tell you, the one that really honked me off the worst.
Well, here we go.
Well, no. My daily driver, I have old cars, mm-hmm. so I had a couple historical plates on. Well, anyhow, we need to go get the oil changed in one of the historical plate cars.
Right.
Well, I'm driving home from getting my daily driver was done. So I needed to go get my oil changed if I was going to drive this car for a little while. So I went and got my oil changed. I'm on my way home and I get stopped. I said, this is my only car running, number one. We did stop at Walmart also because that's where I got the oil changed. So we
Right.
bought some stuff. And this guy he was going to write me a ticket. He just gave me hell because shouldn't be driving that car with the historical plate on it, even though I took it to go get its oil changed.
And you're allowed to do that. Yeah.
So many miles a year.
But he argued that I should have like towed it over there.
Nah.
Yeah, no, I mean this guy.
I think it's
hadn't
even
been
in
that
the
long ago.
Yeah, I think it's even in the ORC, and obviously I wasn't there, so but based on what you're telling me, you're allowed to drive it for maintenance reasons. I mean, that's even in the law. So if you have historical plates on your vehicle, if you're driving it for a maintenance reason, you're allowed to do that.
Well, that's what I told. I quit. I got rid of my.
Did he write you a ticket?
No,
Well, that's good then.
but he threatened.
Yeah.
And you could tell he just wasn't a happy camper when he walked up.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a bad.
And that's okay. I get it, but
Yeah, maintenance reasons, back and forth if you're going to a car show or something like that.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
all
my
right.
dad's got historical plates. He's got a 67 Le Mans, and he's
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool car.
I DJ a lot of car shows. I got
Oh,
a hearse.
nice.
Now, and some people just don't like it because it's a hearse.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't. I mean, I catch some grief. Like I'll DJ weddings with this hearse, but it's blue. It's aqua blue,
Yeah.
and it's got a surfboard.
Yeah,
you know.
how upset can you get somebody driving a blue?
I know. It's not like it's death, you know.
It's more like
Right.
a flower car.
I had a woman get on me one time. She said, "You took my husband away, or my son away in this car." No, I didn't take anybody away. That was somebody else. It wasn't me.
You know, we was talking about the historical plate. One thing you don't want to do, if you've got a pickup truck, you don't want to haul anything in that baby. Because if you get caught hauling anything with historical tags, that's a definite no-no.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I haul DJ equipment in mine all the time. But anyhow, that's their. But I'm just saying, if they watch this Lost in Providence, I would encourage everybody to watch Lost in
Look what
Providence.
the
I'll
doctor
check it out.
says. The doctor says,
You can watch it on.
he says, I'm the only
phone.
person that got a speeding ticket in a smart car.
That's
You know what's so funny is I feel like one car that I catch speeding is like a Toyota Prius, and you wouldn't think it. It's like that's one car I've caught speeding so many times. I don't know. It's,
Reinheimer, you hear that?
yeah, but what I will say to what you were saying is one thing that I pride, especially the Highway Patrol, on is we pride ourselves on being a professional agency. And it's like, obviously there's those instances where people have interactions that aren't positive, or like you said, it's like it could be a case of the
Just having a
officer
bad day.
having a bad day, because
Right.
obviously we're people too. But I think the piece of advice that I got before I became a trooper, and it was from a close friend of mine who's actually the chief of police in Mason where I live. Now he's the chief, then he was, and he was an officer, but it's basically is treat people you interact with like you'd want your mom or dad treated. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's exactly what I do, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's a stressful situation they're in. They're being stopped, whether it's a minor thing or a major thing. It's just they're in a stressful situation, and I think it's our job, especially state troopers, to really be professional and treat it as such, and just realize they're in a stressful situation, and treat them with the dignity and respect they deserve, and and obviously it doesn't happen every time,
Right.
but I think it's the exception, not the norm, is what I like to think,
Well, and most of the time, I think that is right.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
But you do. I tell you now I'm going to test your Wilmington
gosh.
State Patrol knowledge
Oh,
here.
boy,
we
yeah,
go.
you might be
Who?
disappointed.
Well, if you don't know who this guy is, you need to look him up.
Okay.
Because he was a state patrolman probably 30 plus years. And
My history's not the best, but I'll give it a go.
this guy was a great guy, but
Yeah.
you didn't want to be stopped by him because you're probably too young for this. You remember big time wrestling?
Yeah.
Mark knows who I'm
Oh,
who
yeah.
I'm going to talk about.
Yeah.
You remember Sergeant Slaughter?
I've heard the name before.
Well, this guy's got a chin about like this. Well,
Yeah.
there was a guy who worked for the state patrol.
Yeah.
His nickname was Sergeant Slaughter. His name's Bob Matthews. And if you don't know,
Was he
don't-
here at Wilmington?
Yes.
Okay.
And he was here for many years. Still drives. He doesn't. He's got a Pontiac Le Mans.
Does he live around here?
Yes. Yeah. He lives on Snow Hill Road. Yeah, just down from the A-frame. They're on the corner of
Okay.
729. But Bob Matthews, he's a legend around here. You knew when he stopped you, you just saw that chin coming at you. It's
Yeah,
like,
I knew you were in trouble.
yeah, and he always stopped me once. And he was real nice about it.
Yeah.
But it was back when I was young. I was in college. So, but yeah, you need to look up Bob Matthews.
I'll do my
Yeah,
research.
look-
I'll ask some of the old school guys about him.
Because you can also realize this doesn't have to be a one-shot deal. You can come back.
Oh, I appreciate
Okay.
that.
Now, let's see. It's past time for break. When we come back, here's what I want you to tell people, because a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions of this. The jurisdictions for state patrol, sheriff, local police, and that way
Sure.
people can hear it right
Let me
here.
talk about it now.
When we come back from the break.
can do
As
it.
soon as we get back from the break, we'll be back.
Are animals using your house as their new home? Spring is around the corner and so is birthing season for wildlife. Give us a call today if you are hearing noises in your attic or under your house. Here at Diamondback Wildlife Extraction, we can take care of your wildlife removal needs and repairs. Nuisance wildlife can be very destructive to your house, such as chewing on or through electrical wiring and much more. Call us today to book an appointment for inspection at 937-302-6372. We strike back.
Roller Haven is located at 1640 U.S. Highway 22 Northwest, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. The perfect place for a day out with the family, birthday parties, and even an organization, event, or fundraiser. Check out our website, rollerhavenwch.com. Or give us a call at 740-335-6481 and we can help plan your event. We look forward to seeing you there.
City officials forcing a local beloved mascot to step down.
Why poor timing and inappropriate behavior doomed a pantless Wilson the Weasel following his drunken performance at the late Judge Garrett's funeral.
There was nothing routine about this routine.
A story we are dedicated to getting to the bottom of.
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett. These made-up stories and the latest real news from the Murphy Theater are what you've come to expect from us.
On the Murphy Report, with a new report posted every Monday morning on our Murphy Theater website and our Murphy Theater YouTube channel.
Full minute-to-minute coverage all 21 hours a day.
With veteran news anchors Vanessa Del Rey and Breck Stone.
Amanda, I have to say Vanessa and Breck are just about the two finest anchors in the business.
For once, you're absolutely right, Steve.
I think the Titanic could have learned a thing or two from these two giants in their field.
What am I missing here?
Anchors.
The Murphy Report.
Remember, if it's news to you,
It's news to us.
Lot.
We are back. The Waze app.
You ever use that?
No.
Really?
But
It's good.
yeah, the Waze app. We might have like on some long trips.
What I like
That's
about
when I use it.
yeah, yeah, you know what's going on, and the only bad thing is to use it. If you're reporting stuff, you got to take your eye off the road to
Yeah, I don't think they should do that.
use that baby to.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, unless you have speak to text.
I don't think you can do that on there. I don't know.
I don't know.
So
Caught in Providence is, I might have said lost in Providence. They're lost too because when they go to court, they're all scared to death. But he has to deal with those traffic cameras a lot. I don't like those. I'm glad we don't have those.
No,
in
we don't.
Wilmington.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Officer Madden, I asked you before we left, tell everybody, like, what are the different jurisdictions for local sheriffs and state, and like who and when there's multiple officers there, who takes the lead?
So that's definitely something that could be confusing for some people and even sometimes officers involved. But the short answer is anything that's state-owned or leased property is jurisdiction of the State Highway Patrol. So that includes any state route, interstate, anything like that. Also, rest areas, state facilities, ODOT facilities, state prisons.
Yes.
So those are all the main jurisdiction of the State Highway Patrol. Now, when you're within the sector of like county roads and private property and things of that nature, that usually resorts to the sheriff's office. Now, there is situations, and it's kind of the mutual aid agreement where, let's just say, for example, you have somebody call in a drunk driver, for example, right? And they pull into a gas station, and now they're on private property. Typically, what we'll do is the sheriff's office, they're not able to respond. They can request, hey, State Highway Patrol, we're not available. Can you guys go handle this? So we're actually able to go onto private property and initiate that arrest at that point. It's always as a courtesy and to cover ourselves, we'll contact them first. But we are able to act on private property under the mutual aid agreement.
Now, not speaking for myself, but since you brought up like the drunk part, all right. I haven't done that in years.
Asking for a friend.
No, I am asking for a friend. I have heard. That's why I get drunk on coffee.
That's right.
No, okay. You got. I don't do that stuff. Now, if I'm on private property, I'm in my own car. Like let's say I've been drinking, but my keys are not in the ignition. Does that make any difference?
If you're sitting in your car on private property and the keys are in the ignition, I don't think that's an issue. If you're just parked.
Just park. I know I've had too much. I'm going to just lay here and get it over.
I'm not like a law scholar. I mean, it could be an issue if you really dig into like Ohio Revised Code of being like in physical control of the vehicle, like you're actually sitting in the driver's seat.
If you have control of the keys, even if they're not in the ignition,
right?
Then
that wouldn't be an OVI because you're not operating the vehicle.
Right.
But it's a situation where that's a totally separate law. That'd be physical control of the vehicle is what that would be. So I think technically that would be a violation. Like I said, I'd have to delve into it and kind of look at the verbiage of it. But I think technically it would fall under what physical control is considered. So
I just heard people argue about that before, and I really didn't know. So
yeah. Well, that's why Google can be your best friend at times. Look at that stuff up. It's the truth. I mean, there's even times where of course I know all the basic laws and all that stuff. Like most officers and troopers do. But there's times where we got to crack open a ORC book or look it up ourselves because there's just so many. It'd be almost impossible to remember all that. Not only that, you want to make sure you get it right. So you got to look at the exact verbiage. Yeah, it's that big.
it's only about that thick.
Yeah, that's it, just that thick. But kind of something I was sitting on earlier that I wanted to just kind of touch on is I think a lot of people have the misconception that troopers are the quote-unquote taillight chasers and that's all we do. But there's a lot of things that we do as an agency that I don't think people really realize, like plainclothes investigators, aviation, motor units, SRT, which is like our special response team, which a lot of agencies have officers that are on the road, and then if they get a SWAT call out, they put on their gear and go. Our SRT is full-time guys. So there's a lot of stuff that we do as an agency that I don't think the public really realizes. And really, it's kind of nice being part of a big agency like that is there's a lot of opportunity for officers to get that change and do different things. Like I did plainclothes investigating where I investigated crimes that take place inside of state facilities.
It's probably a little more fun, isn't it?
It depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
No one likes going into a state prison and having to interview inmates and be in there, but it's a necessary thing we got to do because just because guys are incarcerated doesn't mean they can still commit crimes in there.
The jails and prisons are full of innocent people.
Yeah. That's what they would say at least, right? Yeah.
I'm joking.
Everyone's innocent in there, right?
Right, but we did learn from another guest.
Not guilty if you get caught.
Not guilty does not mean innocent.
Right. Yeah, they're pleading not guilty, but it's
not guilty does not mean, or innocent doesn't mean not guilty. Remember that? Those are Judkins. John Judkins. He runs the little court over in Greenfield.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He just got elected. Smart guy, great guy. But we learned a lot that day from him. We always give them the moniker, those young ones coming right out of the academy. Even when I was mayor, we have our super troopers. We have to tell them, guys, it's not all about speed.
Right.
I always worried me when we had young people because there's just so many. Well, and today it's worse. There's just so many idiots in the world you guys got to deal with.
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, you're right. And kind of the big flavor of the week right now, and it changes over time, like the trends in law enforcement. It's like when I first came on, the big thing, and it's still a big thing, it's still important, is what we call criminal patrol. It's getting people with drugs, which is obviously one of the main things we do. But, that was during the heroin epidemic. And so it's like your priorities shift towards what's important in society at that time. So like right now, I'm sure you guys have heard about this, it's the distracted driving. That's the big thing right now. and you know, right, and it is. It has a lot. I think, in my personal opinion, I think it goes underreported with crashes that people are more distracted. It's just hard to prove after the fact, right? But that's the big thing. And you know, Ohio, and I went to a big conference recently out in California, and the big theme of it, and it's state agencies and police agencies and traffic safety offices and ODOTs or DOT departments from different states. And the big theme is distracted driving. That's the big thing now, right? Because that's what everyone's doing. They're on their phones, driving their cars nonstop. They can't put them down. So that's kind of the big flavor of the week right now in law enforcement. And luckily in Ohio, we have laws in place where we're able to enforce distracted driving appropriately. Not other states don't have the laws in place to be able to combat that.
Now in Ohio, you're not even supposed to have a phone in your hand if you're driving.
Unless it's up to your ear and you're talking on it,
So
right?
you can't
talk on
You can talk on the phone, correct? I have to look into that, but you can do the hands-free, I think. I don't know if I'd have to look into that for sure, but I don't think you can. Maybe you're correct on that.
I thought that because you see people.
Yeah, you can do the hands. Yeah, I think you're right on it. You can do the hands-free.
All the time, and
Right.
I'm thinking, I thought that was made illegal.
Well, I got mine mounted on my dashboard.
Right, where you can just talk to it. Yeah.
The most thing I do with my hands is just hit like the answer.
Yeah.
That's about it. Jeffrey Schusler, he's a great foot doctor, by the way, if you're a foot doctor. Officer, why is 90 mile per hour the new 70 mile per hour on 71? Cincinnati state troopers don't
What does
go
he
after.
mean, particularly BMW drivers?
Well, you know, he's right. I'm going to tell you what. It used to be the acceptable thing was about 4 to 5 miles over. You weren't going to get stopped usually. And the older I get, the less I speed. I mean, I just set the cruise and go, and I'm not in a hurry. I mean, what are you going to say? Maybe 20 seconds to a minute if you're going that
Is
fast.
there an unwritten speed that you can go over the speed limit and typically don't get ticketed or pulled over?
So I'll take the political answer on that. So, so technically, if you're going over the speed limit, you're speeding technically, right?
Right.
Now, what it boils down to is discretion, right? It's like me personally, my threshold for writing somebody a speeding ticket, if you go down a line of 10 troopers or officers, they're typically going to be close in terms of what their discretion is, but there's guys where if you're 10 over, it's not a MAC ticket. Right. There's guys where if it's, so it just depends, right? It also depends on the conditions of the roadway. So if it's raining outside, if it's snowing, you're not going to get as much leeway in terms of speed because it's going to have a greater impact on their likelihood of crashing, right? Depends on the area they're in. So if they're in a school zone, right, and they're going 10 over versus going 10 over on 71. It's a different ballgame, right? So it's all situationally based and based on the discretion. But to answer this gentleman's question, I wish I had a post full of 30 or 40 troopers that I could have one on every crossover on 71. But the analogy that was given...
I'm glad you don't.
Well, I wish I did, right? Because really, I think there's two parts to this question. And one of them is kind of a plug is, we're law enforcement in general is having hiring issues right now, right? And the highway patrol is affected by that just as much as any other agency trying to get good people, because anymore people don't really want to get into law enforcement like they used to when I came on, right? So really, recruitment is at the forefront of getting manpower and good people with boots on the ground out there on the road working is important. But the answer to that question is, the analogy was given to me is, when you go fishing, you don't catch every fish in the pond, you only catch one at a time, right? And the thing is, it's like this post area specifically, 71 covers a large area in our post area between Fayette, Clinton, and we also cover a couple miles of Greene County where it crosses over there on 71. I think it's a 3-mile stretch that we cover as well. But that's a long stretch of interstate, but our post covers all 3 counties, right? So typically in a shift, I got a couple of troopers out. One's handling the crash in southern Highland County. The other one's handling something on 73. They're not always able to get up to the big road to go stop them all. So I wish we could have more troopers out there to stop all these, guys that are going that fast. But, we get up there and we can, and we get the aggressive violators when we're able to. Trust me, if I see someone going 90 to 70 on 71, they're getting stopped.
Vicky makes a good
Vicky, that's funny. I got my first ticket just a few months ago. I was guilty of 70 and a 55, but I owed it to them for all the times I didn't get caught.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
I appreciate the honesty, Vicky.
Well, go ahead.
Well, talk recruitment. Say someone a young person, wanted to get into the patrol. what would be the best way for them to go about getting started to head that direction to get?
The easiest way would definitely really, you just stop at a patrol post and come and just introduce themselves, and we can refer them to a recruiter. So what we have in the highway patrols broken up into 9 districts across the state. This is District 8, is Southwest Ohio, and actually our district headquarters is in the same building that the Wilmington Post is at. So that's where our headquarters is at for Southwest Ohio. But basically, we have what's called a DRT, which is a district recruitment team. It's comprised of a sergeant and a handful of troopers, and they still work the road. They still do road patrol duties, but a primary source of what they do is recruitment, right? Trying to get people.
Do they go to like conventions?
Absolutely. That you hit the nail right on the head.
I'll invite them to any of my car shows, because
that'd be great.
Who else would want to? Who else would really like to do that? People like old cars that drive fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll take you up on that.
Seriously.
They go to colleges. They go to events like that, and basically they'll set up tables and they'll talk to people, and they could specifically speak on the process of recruitment and how they go about getting in. So currently, you have to be 21 years old when you graduate to be able to work the road, and it used to be you couldn't be older than 35 to start the academy and graduate. Now they extended that to 40 years old. I don't know about you, I wouldn't want to go through the academy at 40 years old. I felt old going through it in my mid-20s.
That would be tough.
Yeah, it'd be tough. But so they extended that as well. So then also they changed our tattoo policy, which traditionally for years you couldn't have tattoos and join the highway patrol, at least below where the short sleeve uniform hits you at. But they changed that so because now in modern. I got you, Joey.
He's down in Cincinnati. So
Yeah.
that guy right there, he is probably the best. What I want to say, doing the car art.
Oh,
pinstriping.
Best. He's probably the best pinstriper in the state of Ohio.
You watch some little YouTube videos, the guys that freehand that. It's pretty neat.
He did my hearse.
That's cool.
He's awesome. He's getting ready to go to the Lowrider magazine show. I'm not sure where it's at.
So they allow tattoos and.
So yeah, going back to that, but they just have. So actually, in a couple of weeks, we switched to short sleeves. It's a specific date. It's October 31st is when we switch to the long sleeves, and April 15th is when we switch to short sleeves. So it's seasonal. But basically, they can have tattoos on their arms up to their wrist line, but they have to wear the long sleeve uniform shirt year round, which obviously doesn't sound fun when it's 95 degrees and you're handling a crash on 71, right? But now we got new uniforms that are like a moisture wicking material. Well, they used to be like the wool type material, right? So that makes it a little bit better on them. But they still switch hats. We have the felt Stetson, we switch to the straw Stetson. At the same time, we go to the short sleeve uniform. But the concept behind that is guys that are in the military, young people in general now, tattoos, everyone's got tattoos, right? And what we found is when we opened that up, it pretty much doubled our recruitment pool. Like you go up there, look at an academy class now, it's going through, half of them got tattoos.
Now, I bet there's still some, though, that you don't allow.
Yeah, they have to be
face tattoos
right.
or anything like
So
that.
yeah, correct. Right, they can't be. Long story short, they can't be visible when they have the long sleeve uniform on.
Gotcha.
You're not gonna have anything on your head or neck. And then also, even if you do have a tattoo that can be covered, it's got to be reviewed and photographed that it's not in poor taste.
Yeah.
Right. It's got to be. Those are all vetted.
Joey, he's going to Indianapolis for the lowrider things. He might see some old cars out and about
that's
this week.
cool.
Hell of a weekend to do that. I'll tell you what, we're going to be back in just a minute. We're going to talk a little bit more about recruiting, but I also want to know the history, if you have any history, of the Flying Tiger or the Flying Tire logo.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back. Travis.
Indulge in a variety of mouth-watering dishes, from juicy burgers and fresh salads to stacked sandwiches, delicious pizzas, warm soups, crispy fries, and finger-licking wings. Every bite is crafted with care using hand-grinded and breaded ingredients made right here in-house. Whether you're dining solo or with family or hanging out with friends, we have something to satisfy every craving. That's the Rusty Keg in Washington Courthouse, the best fries in town.
Roller Haven is located at 1640 U.S. Highway 22 Northwest, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. The perfect place for a day out with the family, birthday parties, and even an organization event or fundraiser. Check out our website, rollerhavenwch.com, or give us a call at 740-335-6481, and we can help plan your event. We look forward to seeing you there.
Nursery rhyme historians uncover the truth about Jack and Jill.
There was no hill to climb, and new clues cast doubt on there ever being a pail. What could be next? The tortoise and the hare living together?
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett. The nursery rhymes may be made up, but the only thing made up here is the news.
That's right, Steve. On the Murphy Report. With a new report every week beginning Monday morning on the Murphy Theater website and our YouTube channel.
Hard-hitting, cutting edge, and a third less fulfilling.
With veteran news anchors Vanessa Del Rey and Breck Stone.
A combined 415 years in the news business.
It's made up news you can count on to get you through your day.
And put you to sleep at night, just like me with my warm milk and cookies. And a plethora of heart-related medications.
Plus all the real news on what's coming to the Murphy Theater.
Ohio's hometown theater in downtown Wilmington.
That's on the Murphy Report.
Remember, if it's news to you,
it's news to us.
All right, we're back. And one thing I just want to touch on from the last segment, and Jerry can attest to this too, but when you're involved in small town politics, and we had a police office we still have the police department. New Vienna had it, they got rid of it, the sheriff's department, but we're basically just a training ground because we can't pay what the sheriff's department or what the city of Wilmington would pay, or probably the state troopers as well. But in the state troopers line, do you guys lose anybody like that because they're going on to higher paying, like maybe the Secret Service or anything like that? I mean, is there somebody that like poaches upon the state patrol for their quality officers?
It can happen.
I bet there is.
So it just depends. I think it boils down to, I think, what they're doing, the agency and kind of what that person's interested in doing that would persuade them to leave. And it probably also boils down to money, to be quite honest. It's like you were kind of alluding to. It's like these smaller departments can't pay as well, so they might be persuaded to go to a bigger department that can pay better. You get towards the Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland areas, those are agencies that are able to pay more just based on the area they're at.
Got to deal with a lot more crap, though. That's the only bad.
You do, right. And it depends on, it's like you look at Hamilton County, they have tons of municipalities, right, in Hamilton County. I mean, there's probably 80 police departments down there, So depending on the more affluent areas, the agencies that can pay more, that can persuade certain officers to go there if that's what their incentive is, right, is pay. Now, I never got into law enforcement to be rich, to be quite honest. I got into it because I thought it was a decent, honorable job. It seemed interesting to me. And, you can make a good living and a good retirement off it. You're pension-based. And that's kind of the thing I preach to people is that I'll be able to retire with a full pension if I wanted to at the age of 53 years old, which is young.
Yeah, well, and I think the big thing is service.
Exactly.
Nobody goes into teaching for the money. No one goes into law enforcement for the money because let's face it, you're risking your life all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, and that's what, almost as a teacher too anymore. It's not much, a lot of times not much difference. Now, I don't know why I want to throw this out there, and you can just say, don't worry about that. AI, are you guys having any issues dealing with people, like dealing with AI?
Nothing that I've necessarily heard personally. No. I guess my question would be is what have you heard? Have you heard anything about that at all?
Nothing other just scares me to death.
I mean, I think it could be used for good and definitely be used for bad too, without a doubt.
We've had some people on here, and it's interesting. Just make a long story short, they gave an interview to this guy, 15-minute interview. They came back, showed the same exact interview an hour later. Mm-hmm. Not a word was the same.
Oh wow!
And it looked like the guy was saying it.
Right.
Yeah. What worries me is if you get somebody that's a bad boss, mm-hmm. and they bring you in, they videotape you, or just use videotape, and they can change the words around. Mm-hmm. I bet you're going to run into issues. Maybe not so much with the motor vehicle side, mm-hmm. but the other.
Well, you can look at identity theft,
Right.
things of that nature. I mean, that's the things that scare me, and that's something we deal with is people posing to be someone else. When we stop them, because a lot of times, the traffic side of it is bad guys got to get from point A to point B, right? And that's why I was talking about like the drug, criminal interdiction, human trafficking, all that stuff.
And that's bad in Ohio.
It is, and it's something that we deal with, and that we train our guys to look for, So it's rare, but it happens, and it happens more oftentimes than we'd like to really think or admit, to be quite honest.
I'm laughing because of the Joe Burrow stop.
I didn't hear about that. He got stopped recently.
Well, no, he didn't get stopped, but no, he got robbed.
All the guys,
The guys that robbed him, they're wearing all this dangle stuff.
Yeah, they got his stuff
oh, no,
on.
man, we didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not the guy.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
Wearing a necklace that was just.
It's unreal. Didn't they stop him up towards Monroe or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Is there very many female patrol officers?
That's a great question, and there's a, we pride ourselves on being a diverse agency, right? And we have several female troopers here at the Wilmington Post, and it's good to have that diversity because you kind of get that different mindset. You get when you got to deal with different individuals, that you get people that have a different perspective when dealing with them, which is really good. And there is definitely a very strong push for females in law enforcement right now, without a doubt. And that's definitely something I know that there's a seminar coming up here soon for females in law enforcement. If you get on Highway Patrol's Facebook page, I saw something on there that was talking about a women's readiness seminar for law enforcement. We had there was the state trooper of the year several years ago was a trooper out of this post. A female named Brittany Noah, who's a close friend of mine.
What's her last name?
It was Kenny at the time.
Okay.
But she got married, and her last name's Noah now. And she was State Trooper of the Year, which is one of our most prestigious awards. She won it out of the Wilmington Post here. I was probably 7-8 years ago. Now she's actually a lieutenant that's in charge of recruitment and diversity, and she is located out of Columbus at our training academy. But it's important to have that diversity. And to answer your question is, we have a strong push for females in law enforcement. We want good people in general, but we want diversity too. Because it just gives us that different perspective, and it makes us that much stronger.
Well, and they're doing away with a lot of DEI stuff, but and I don't, as a common person, I don't care if they're white, black, red, woman, whatever, as long as they're the best to do the job.
Exactly.
That's the thing. We, especially in jobs like that, you gotta have people. You got people you can trust, and you gotta have people that are level-headed.
Not everybody is going to be able to do it.
No.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely.
Troopers come in all shapes and sizes. That's what I was told one time.
And I tell you, I can go back to, and especially going back to when we had the police department. I'm telling you what, you bring in a guy, they'd interview really good, and they get the job, and they get in there, and the next thing you know, man, they got this power thing.
Super trooper. That's what that is.
And it's not
right.
It's not anything you need.
We always had, when I was mayor, we always had good chiefs and lieutenants that trained, and we didn't really have too much of that. But our worst problem was they come work for a year or two, and then they're gone.
Right.
I don't think we ever had a really good young officer that worked during my time being there that didn't move on to either the state patrol or the sheriff's department, one or the other.
Right.
They'd move on somewhere.
Yeah, well, and Wilmington Police Department too. I mean, the amount of the pay is so much different, and it's not that much really different of a job in this area. Now, if you're going from here, Sabina to Cincinnati, I don't know if I want to do that.
Right.
Yeah. So, as far as jurisdiction, basically, you're just saying it's shared jurisdiction.
In some areas, right? Like they might take precedent over us, obviously, in some areas, but we're able to act under mutual aid in the same areas they are. And there's areas where we take the primary jurisdiction, like interstates, right? Obviously,
right.
And then rest areas, things of that nature.
But all the,
and just like kind of the other way around, straight up. But they can handle stuff in areas like say for example, they can go to the rest area and handle stuff as well if need be, because it's within their county. So it's kind of those things where lines can get blurred sometimes. But at the end of the day, what it boils down to is it's a partnership. It's like Sheriff Doug Estes is a close friend of mine.
Yeah.
You know, and me and Sheriff, we work hand in hand. It's like recently, we had a detail where we're out trying to get guys in the county that had outstanding warrants.
Roundup.
The roundup, yeah. And he involved us in that, and I think that's awesome. But you got to think, when you hear something like that, that's something that typically would be PDs in the sheriff's office.
Right.
He involved us because we can be there with them and act accordingly. So.
Well, the more the merrier, I would say.
And it's just a safety thing too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, people are just batshit crazy. I mean, some of the stuff, and if you want to tell us about some of those things that you've encountered,
sure.
Or what's maybe some of the better excuses why how people try to get out of tickets. I think this would be some fun stories.
Women that are trying to get out of the tickets. Right?
Yeah. Well, that's why I was going to do this. We'll be back in a minute.
Are animals using your house as their new home? Spring is around the corner, and so is birthing season for wildlife. Give us a call today if you are hearing noises in your attic or under your house. Here at Diamondback Wildlife Extraction, we can take care of your wildlife removal needs and repairs. Nuisance wildlife can be very destructive to your house, such as chewing on or through electrical wiring and much more. Call us today to book an appointment for inspection at 937-302-6372. We strike back.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the game is actually over before you storm the court. Okay. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Local religious leaders pondering taking Sundays off.
Holy Toledo, Batman. Are religious holidays next on the chopping block?
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett.
Investigative reporting. It's what we do, sometimes on the Murphy Report.
Nothing is off limits in our newsroom, except baby turtles.
The Murphy Report. A new report every Monday on the Murphy Theater website and our own YouTube channel.
Amanda, did you know that I once felt I had a calling and gave serious consideration to joining the priesthood?
Oh, I can see that. You seem sincere, spiritual sort of person, not wrapped up in the petty trappings of society, littered with ego and vanity. What made you decide not to do it?
I don't look good in black.
Amen to that. The Murphy Report.
Remember, if it's news to you,
it's news to us.
Let's get personal. Let's get personal. Come on, Uncle Punky.
I'm doing it.
Yeah. He's doing about like this. Yeah, your Sunday nights, 5 to 8, with your guest host, Dr. Jeffrey Schusler. He was the one asking about the 90 and the 70.
Gotcha.
And then Sarah, I want to play you like a piccolo fife. We'll be on for a Let's Get Personal dating game. No, it's not a dating game. Talking about interpersonal relationships with single people. There's going to be 3 different categories. We're going to have the young people edition, the geriatric edition, so Jerry can be on there, and the Sasquatch edition. That way Jerry can be on there also. I can't wait to see the women for the Sasquatch edition. So, any good stories or anything you want to tell us about the flying tire or what?
So you were asking before about the history. So the flying wheel, we'll go that route first, right? It's look over here technique. But so our history, we started in 1933. So we just had our 90th anniversary recently as an agency. And actually kind of a fun fact is that this patrol post right here is one of 2 original patrol posts still standing in the entire state. So it's a kind of a historical type facility, I guess, as well. I believe it's Wilmington. Also, the Cambridge District Headquarters is one of 2 original patrol posts in the state. Like if you go by the Lebanon Post, I believe it was built in the 50s. That was kind of like a model that they kind of kit almost, for lack of a better word, they used for patrol posts. You look at the Lebanon Post, the Batavia Post, they kind of have that same kind of footprint, kind of look to them, right?
Yeah.
But now they're in the process of those are all aging, and they're building a lot of new and renovating a lot of new patrol posts. So like right now, our dispatch center is getting renovated, and it was needed, right? Because we want our dispatchers to have the facilities and the amenities that they deserve and need. So it's always an ongoing thing, especially for an agency of our age and size, is that we got to constantly be improving. But the flying wheel, that's just been our logo since we started, and I think that's kind of the wheel with the wings on is kind of synonymous with state troopers and state highway patrol. Each agency has their own logo, I guess, but that's kind of a common one that there's different iterations of, across different state agencies. So that's the history part of it that I can speak to.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the wings were supposed to be like angel wings.
Yeah, I think it's like no, I don't know about that. I think it's just like you're supposed to fly, like the flying wheel.
I think you ought to go with that. See, that make it softer and gentler.
Yeah, right. Softer, gentler highway control.
Speaking of softer and gentler, who has come up on a speeding ticket, or you've come up to somebody, or what's been the greatest? You ever seen the movie Tommy Boy?
Oh yeah.
Okay. How you like their excuse when they get stopped?
Yeah.
Remember?
Stung by bees.
Bees.
That'd be a pretty good one.
Have you ever had any fun ones like that?
I don't know if any that I'd like to share on a public forum. I guess I would say, But I'll give you the short answer. I've pretty much, for the most part, done and seen it all. That's for sure. So you'll see some interesting stuff. You got the classic, I got to go to the bathroom, stuff like that. That's the common kind of generic one. But it's a lot of times, to be quite honest. I'll tell you my rule of thumb, and this is the thing. It's like you have the discretion and kind of in terms of when you stop somebody, and take an enforcement or not. But if you can make me laugh, then that's kind of like that. Then at that point, you take the wind out of my sails. At that point, so if you can make me laugh, that typically helps your cause.
Kevin Martin, in 1933, flying wheel insignia was designed by combining the wings of the Roman god Mercury to represent speed and the wheel to reflect traffic law enforcement. The designer Joseph Goldberg wanted to fit the design on a patch and signify everything pertaining to the patrol. So there's the Bing.
He's our Bingologist.
He's our Bingologist.
I like it. You learn something every day.
Yeah. Well, and so Jerry, you're getting ready to say something. Go. What were you getting ready to say? You forgot what it was? All right.
I don't know.
So you're not going to let us in on any good ones. No bees. No. Just maybe tell you a joke.
I'm just nothing really stands out to me, to be quite honest.
I got one that somebody used before. They said, "Where have you been? I have been speeding all day." And you
that's good. That would be one I'd be like, that's pretty good. Like, that's pretty funny. I'd say, well, I'm here now. Well, your wait is over.
Yeah. I used to play in a band, and a lot of times women would do things to try to get your attention, and it's like. What's scary is probably a lot of people maybe have tried to get your attention or state patrolman's attention over the years. You're like, honey, put that back on. I don't want to see that.
I think
please hide that. Yeah. I'm going to double your fine if I got to keep looking.
That's funny.
Do you get much dealing with concealed carry people now?
I'll be honest with you. I love concealed carry holders. People, using their constitutional right, I think it's awesome. And that's why I started doing this job, is to protect people's constitutional rights as American citizens. And, and I tell you what, anytime I come up to somebody, because they changed the law a couple years back, it used to be you always had to notify. But now, if you have your concealed carry permit, and you're not carrying, you don't even have to say anything. But typically, guys, as a courtesy, because anytime you run their license or their driver's license, we get a notification that they're a concealed carry permit holder.
Ohio, though, is open carry, right?
Right. So, and they changed that a couple years ago too. So technically, you don't have to have a concealed carry to carry a weapon, right? So, I think it's good because education and training is always a good thing. So I encourage people to still do it. And I'm not sure on the finer details, but I think it also allows you to carry it in more places when you do get your concealed carry permit. But we run into it all the time. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If I'm out working in a day, I would say if I had to put a ratio on the top of my head, it's like 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 vehicles that I might run their plate or something that they're going to hit for concealed carry permit holder. And like I say, I think it's great that people get it, and it's something I encourage people to do. To be quite honest, it's very common.
Okay, well, I'm just curious if that give you a little more apprehension coming up on a vehicle.
It doesn't. Honestly, and I'm speaking honestly, like if I told you it made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, it doesn't at all. I feel zero discomfort because in my eyes, someone that's willing to do that, and be a legitimate firearms owner and holder, I feel comfortable around them. And I walked up and they're like, hey, I'm just letting you know. I'm like, I have no problem with that. I'm like, thank you for letting me know. I said maybe as a courtesy, just kind of keep your hands up on your steering wheel when you see me approach back again. And I don't even have to do that necessarily. It's just one of those things where it's just, I feel zero discomfort, and I appreciate it.
Isn't that something you're supposed to do anyhow? I mean, when you get stopped, your immediate thing, don't be searching for your license, don't be digging around.
It just looks suspicious.
Yeah.
Right.
But see, I'm the other way. I won't be prepared.
There's someone you need to arrest.
I bet it's Joe Davis. It is Joe Davis. And he's bringing food, too. Look at that. All right.
Let's get the donuts from him before you cuff him, okay?
Yeah.
Thank
you. You're the man.
This is something I make up myself. It's called City S'mores.
Stupid graham cracker stuff.
That's good.
You don't get anything.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Brandy's told me about those, Joe.
So, but yeah, like let's talk about that little driver's etiquette, okay? Let's say for somebody who's never been stopped before, and what would you like to be able to tell everybody who's never been stopped before, and you just stopped them?
It's their first time being stopped.
Yeah, and what should they do?
If it's their first time being stopped, like it's a younger guy. First of all, I was talking like, hopefully this is your first and your last time, right?
Right.
And I think something that I try to do, and I know I definitely troopers in general, is try to make it very educational. And if you can get your point across, whether it's a citation or a warning, that's the main thing, is educating them on what they did wrong and how they can avoid doing it again to keep them safe and other people safe. But in terms of etiquette, I think just politeness and courtesy and honesty goes a long way, to be quite honest. Now, I'm not asking anybody to incriminate themselves or anything like that, but when people are forthright and just are honest and genuine and own it, for lack of a better word, it's, that goes a long way with me personally. I think that's just in life, in general, when people are honest and just kind of own it and just respectful. I think it's the main thing. It's just we're going to give respect, and we expect it in return. I think that's all I can say, is just being, and I think kind of something that we'll see sometimes is people, when you go to stop them, is they want to find a safe space to stop, and they'll keep on going. Which
right.
Then you talk about the hairs in the back of your neck standing up. You're like, what is going on here? It's like, you kind of at that point have to relinquish control to us in a way, because we're going to keep you safe. Because we want to keep ourselves safe. We're the ones getting out in the side of the road, making approaches.
With people on their phones,
Just walking out to
that's got to scare you a little bit, because you see all these videos on Facebook or YouTube where people, officers are making stops and idiots aren't paying attention, and bam.
Did you see the question Vicky had?
I've seen it with our troopers, videos of troopers on traffic stops and vehicles come over and strike. It's scary. Roadside workers is
right.
Construction workers, troopers, officers. It's one of the most dangerous jobs. I put something out to our local commanders. We have a leadership topic that we kind of rotate putting out district wide, and each post commander is responsible for doing that. Mine was April, so my topic was officer involved deaths, right? And I would say, I think it's a third of all officer-involved deaths across the United States is traffic-related. It's
sure.
Officers getting involved in crashes, getting struck on the side of the road. So it's not there. It accounts for approximately the same amount as officers getting killed as a result of gunfire. Rivals being killed in a traffic crash. It's one of the most dangerous things we do is drive a car.
Absolutely. Vicki Kendall had a quick question, and we'll take another break here. Back in the day, all the farm boys and girls would carry a rifle on a rack in the back window. Pickup trucks, is that a no-no now?
I think it's still okay, because it's based on the length of the firearm. I think that's something that boils down to, because it's considered a rifle because of the length of it. I don't think that's an issue. I don't think anything's changed on that. I think they're still able to do that.
But they're not allowed to take it on the school property.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's changed, right?
Yeah, that's where they get in trouble.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to have any kind of a firearm.
Yeah, because when we were in school, heck, all the trucks had the guns in the back.
And really, gun laws in general. You know, you look up some Ohio Revised Code or different laws. You know, it's a paragraph this big. Anything gun law related is pages upon pages. I mean, you want to talk about something that's convoluted and complicated to decipher is gun law stuff. So, to my knowledge, I think they're still able to do that because it's based on the length of the rifle itself. But yeah, like he said, you have school property areas where it's marked you can't take a firearm. That would be a different story, you know. But yeah, that'd be something I might want to research myself. But I believe they're still okay to do that.
Okay, and that's like I said, the book is huge.
The lieutenant's leaving at this time.
Are you leaving?
I can hang out a little bit longer.
Yeah, hang out.
No problem.
Huh. You're going to get stuck.
Oh yeah, we'll take a break, but we want you to go out and get your picture.
I'd love to.
All right, we'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Indulge in a variety of mouth-watering dishes, from juicy burgers and fresh salads to stacked sandwiches, delicious pizzas, warm soups, crispy fries, and finger-licking wings. Every bite is crafted with care using hand-grinded and breaded ingredients made right here in-house. Whether you're dining solo or with family or hanging out with friends, we have something to satisfy every craving. That's the Rusty Keg in Washington Courthouse, the best fries in town.
They said it could never happen. They hoped it would never happen, but now the most unpopular vegetable in the soup family is getting her own talk show.
That's right. Coming this fall on the Food Channel, it's The Okra Show.
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett.
Celebrity gossip and other stories that matter the most. Plus, what's coming to the Murphy Theater on the weekly edition of The Murphy Report.
It's what we dish up for you. When you hunger and thirst for real journalism, look elsewhere.
But you can find us at themurphytheater.org or the Murphy Theater YouTube channel with a new news report every Monday morning.
You know, Amanda, I used to have my own morning talk show.
Oh, why'd you give it up?
Well, there was a little dispute at the time of my contract renewal.
Oh, what was the disagreement?
Well, I wanted to renew, and they didn't.
What'd they replace you with?
A half-hour infomercial on nail clippers.
When you have to know before anybody else, count on your one source for useless, made-up news, The Murphy Report.
Remember, if it's news to you,
it's news to us. City Council surprisingly votes 4-3, banning citizens from dressing up their puppies.
Mere days before the local kennel club's National Puppy Jamboree.
It's a canine conundrum.
And City Hall has blood on its paws.
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett.
Feel-good stories we make up just for you every Monday morning, plus the latest on what's coming to the Murphy Theater in Wilmington, Ohio on The Murphy Report.
Your mistrusted name in made-up news.
The Murphy Report. Find us on the Murphy Theater website and our YouTube channel.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Amanda, but I dress up both of my dogs, Claire and Wally.
Let me guess. Bonnie and Clyde.
Nope.
Abbott and Costello?
Nope.
Mickey and Minnie.
Ah, close. William Gibbs McAdoo and the first of his 3 wives, Sarah Hazelhurst Fleming.
Of course, the Treasury Secretary under Woodrow Wilson.
And his wife. The Murphy Report. Remember, if it's news to you,
it's news to us. Donuts. Getting a makeover and a name change.
It's every baker's nightmare. Buckling to the snowflake social media pressure, America's tasty glazed treats will now be known as doughy, emotionally compromised yeast rings.
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett.
Why wait for real news when you can get all the made-up news you need?
Along with the facts about Ohio's hometown theater, The Murphy.
On The Murphy Report. Find us on the Murphy Theater website and our own YouTube channel with a brand new report every Monday morning.
I have tried so hard to cut back on my daily doughy, emotionally compromised yeast rings intake.
Really, Steve? No one has noticed. And I mean no one.
The Murphy Report. Remember, if it's news to you,
It's news to us.
Look, like Rick says Joe drives. I'm surprised you haven't bet.
All right, we got Joe Davis in the house. He's getting harassed right now.
I drive from here to South Carolina and I'm always within the range of.
The range. See, he says the range. That
Joe
means
did
10
bring us
miles.
donuts.
70, I'm going 72 or 3.
Davis, you told me you only drive 10 miles over the speed limit.
I never drive that far. I think too much of gas mileage.
All right, well, we're back, and
Why
also,
is he the only one using proper setting nice and neat? You guys are all.
I think it's the vest makes you stand up straight. The bulletproof
yeah,
vest. It stiffens you up some.
there you go. All right, so what else would you like? Because we do want you to come back. All right, if you want to come back once a month or whenever.
I enjoy it. I'd definitely be back. I might bring Beckett with me next time.
Well, bring somebody, but also think of some stories that you could tell that would be fun, and you don't have to say anybody's name. You can
Somebody
protect
appeal to
Anderson.
certain senses of humor, though.
Yeah, humanize.
Well, and that's the thing people need to realize. You guys are just doing your job, but that's why you need to watch that Caught in Providence show. Everyone ought to be made to watch that show, because if you've never seen it either, it's just a great introductory to, like in his case, it's courtroom, but in your guys' case, it would be like that first offender, because everybody gets their first ticket. I remember when I got my first one, and it's like, geez. But I haven't had a ticket in 4 years, knock wood, 4T. I've been stopped a lot because I DJ. And I used to have this van, we called it the hippie van. I actually had it on the
You
back
get stopped
of it.
a lot because you drive a hearse.
We get stopped a lot because we drive a hearse, and we get stopped a lot because...
The Blues Brothers come.
well, that's something. The Blues Brothers, I have a Blues Brothers car also. You know the Blues Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Now, I do have somebody got on me one time. It wasn't a policeman, it's just some jerk. Said, oh, you shouldn't have that star on the side of your car. But it says, what's it say on the side? Oh, we're on a mission from God.
Right.
And it has
I love that movie.
it has a treble clef in it. But there's no problem with putting a star on your car, is there?
No, I don't see why not. Unless you're posing to be an officer.
Oh,
is a
which
different
I'm
story.
not,
Right,
yeah.
you're right, yeah.
Okay. So what's been some of the most expensive cars you stopped?
Oh,
That might be fun.
Yeah, the most expensive car I've stopped. Wow, I don't off the top of my head, I don't know. I'll tell you this: the fastest car I've ever checked, actually.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
So I checked a motorcycle on 275 going 153 miles an hour one time.
Whoa. 153.
Did you catch him?
Didn't even try. There was no way. I was stopped in a crossover, and to be quite honest with you, I was even amazed I was able to hit him with the laser.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Here's the deal. He would have taken off and caused a public safety risk at that point to himself and others. So
Oh, he already was.
It was exactly true, but even more so, right? But yeah, it's true. But that's the fastest I've ever checked the vehicle's 153 miles.
What about but that's where you could radio ahead. Hey, I got a motorcycle going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw out the stop sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to stop stick a motorcycle.
No.
Wow.
Have you ever had to do that?
I have thrown stop sticks before. It's something that it's more common than you think. We had a trooper 2 weeks ago. They had a pursuit for a stolen vehicle that was coming through here in Wilmington. Actually, came right here through town, and he ended up stop sticking it. I think it was over on 68. He ended up stop sticking.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good stop stick, and they ended up getting the car stopped and it was stolen vehicles. So yeah, it happens pretty often, and that's one of the more dangerous things we do, to be honest. There's I think it was 2 Indiana state troopers within a couple month period of time within the last couple of years were killed by throwing stop
Well,
sticks.
when you're trained to do that,
Yeah.
what do they tell you? I mean, like
You don't do it unless you got proper cover.
Well, no. What about though? Like how? This isn't one of those things where you throw it out like a minute.
No.
Early.
You got to time it right. Yeah, sure. Now you can always basically how it works is, it's like a nylon sheath, and then it's got almost like a cord on it, like you're fishing, right? So you put it across the roadway, and then you have it set up, and then once the vehicle's coming, you pull it in front of it, and then you're able to pull it out of the roadway. So cars after the vehicle don't get spiked too, basically is how it works. So you could set them up ahead of time, but you don't want to get them in the roadway until, like you said, right before the vehicle's coming, because they see it, they're going to swerve
So
around.
what do they train you, like 5 seconds before? Or?
Just it's situational, I would say. As long as you're set up, and basically if there's a big gap between vehicles in front of it and that car, you can get them staged at least. And then you want to pull them in front of it right before, kind of have the element of surprise.
Right, but that's scary too, because it's last second.
Yep.
I also saw this other device, and I don't know if we use it in Ohio or not, but it shoots out from the front of the car and gets around like a back wheel. Yeah. Do we have those?
The Highway Patrol doesn't. I know that, but I've seen those. I know what you're referring to, and we don't have those, but I think definitely in law enforcement, we got to be innovative and look for new ways to get people stopped, and I would think with technology evolving and all that kind of stuff, it's like eventually we're going to get to a point where they're able to, and like I've seen it before where like cars have like OnStar or something like that. We've had people steal cars that have that in it. They're able to remotely shut the car down and lock the doors so we can go up and make contact with it and get the car stopped. We've had that several times.
Well, you just wonder, but that might be an AI thing in the future, where maybe if you have a newer vehicle that you could actually just stop the car, shutting the engine down. Because a lot of these new cars, they shut down anyhow when they go to stoplights.
Right.
I've never had one of those.
That Jeep that I had there last week did.
I don't think I'd like that. State patrol cars aren't like that, are they?
What's that, sir?
They keep running, don't they? They don't shut down.
like the auto start and stop? Yeah, they keep running.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Crotch rocket motorcyclists are insane. Yeah, but and that's the thing with speeding. It just drives me crazy because, like I said, the older I get, I just go about the speed limit, maybe a mile or two over. And people, it's like I'm standing still.
Right.
How many miles would you say the average would be for a trooper to put on a car here in Clinton County?
In a day?
Day, month, week, whatever.
Wow, I think it just depends on your call volume and kind of where you're going to, because you got to think if you're going from Southern Highland County to Northern Fayette County, you're covering some ground.
Right.
I would say it's not uncommon. It'd be a couple 100 miles in the shift.
Wow.
Yeah. And because you got to count, there's days where they're stationary, and so. But I would say it's very possible for it to be a couple 100 miles in a shift on certain days. When those guys are out running around, and they'll run the miles up on a car. I mean, the typical service life of a car, which is they usually get traded in approximately 125,000 miles. We'll trade the cars in, and then that's pretty much their shelf life for the most part, 2 or 3 years, and then the car's done. Typically, usually we get two, typically around 3+ years is give or take is how long a car usually lasts for.
Tilly had a comment up there. I absolutely hate them. I think she's talking about motorcycles.
Yeah, I think so too. I saw that.
I think I was. You don't hate the patrol, do you, Tilly? Tilly doesn't hate. I know Tilly. She doesn't. But it's the motorcycle. I like motorcycles, but I don't. I don't like seeing anybody because a lot of these motorcycles. I gotta ask you something else too while we're on this. Motorcycles, as long as you're obeying the law and not cutting in. One thing I hate is they'll cut right down the middle between 2 lanes of traffic. Traffic on each side, and they're taking the dash line in the middle. It's like, don't do that, because people, you're taking a lot of faith in people that they're seeing you.
Yeah.
Now I want to know. These daggone one-wheel unicycle motorcycle things, are they really legal?
Which ones are you talking about?
I'm talking about the one where you just stand on it and go.
Oh, like the one-wheel type deal things?
Yeah.
Like where it's almost like a skateboard, and it's got one wheel.
Yeah, but they go fast.
Yeah, they do go fast. I mean, you're not allowed to have them on the roadway.
I see them all the time.
Yeah, they're not supposed to.
I'm telling you, there's a guy in town.
I think I've heard of that before. That guy's. Yeah, I mean because
he needs to be stopped.
It's like a pedestrian in the roadway is the way I look at it. So
he has a right of way.
Well, it depends on if you're in an area where a pedestrian can be, right? Yeah. If you're in a crosswalk, I guess he can take across the crosswalk.
He's in a lane of traffic.
Yeah, that's no good.
I tell you what, you've seen him, haven't you? You seen that guy? Well, and a friend of mine down the street, he's been on the show once. he had one. I told him, sell that thing because you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And by God, a month later, he fell and broke his arm.
Yeah, I think my saying is just because you can doesn't mean you should sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those deals.
Well, but they can't. They're not street legal, right?
No.
I don't know you, guy. And if you're watching the show and you drive that thing, it's nothing personal. But my fear is you're going to get killed.
Right. Yeah, and that's what it boils down to is just safety. You know, we just don't want to see anybody get hurt. You know.
Well, and it's just.
We're having an old fart conference back here in the back.
They are having the whole Fort conference back in the back, but it's scary. I mean, because this thing's, I don't know what top speed is on them, but
Oh, I think they move pretty good. I think it just depends on the different models. I've seen them before, but I mean, you can take them off road and all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're
on private property. Just playing
I think
with it. That's
golf
okay.
carts is a big thing.
Well, they're street legal now if they got a license plate.
Yeah, they've got to have, yeah.
Now, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but there's things you see on the road and you go, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, and I bet you I catch heck for this, but I'm going to say it anyhow. There's one of these big farm vehicles every day that he makes about 50 trips from Sabina to Melvin. No license plate. They got the big tires. He's pulling semi beds back and forth, washing them.
I've heard.
Is it legal? I
Yeah,
mean,
he said we actually refer that to our commercial enforcement guy.
Yeah.
He like oversees, commercial vehicles and that stuff.
Right.
And that's a very niche thing as well. So you can't hold me to it. But they looked into it, and that guy is able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, he still has to follow the speed limit. That's the big thing, is because that was one of the complaints we were getting how his speed is when he was doing it. So as long as he obeys the speed limit, he's okay.
I've never noticed the speed being out of control. And the only thing, again, just coming at this as a former mayor, was the wear and tear on the road every day.
Sure.
Because those things aren't light.
No. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where, it's a hard situation because if they're illegally allowed to do it, and they're frequenting that area, it's like, it's kind of a hard battle sometimes,
And I personally don't have a duck in that. But it just makes you go.
I think I saw him yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Well, it just makes you go.
Basically, I think he kind of found a loophole to be able to move those around. Because a lot of times what you'll see is guys that are doing stuff like that, they have the wherewithal to educate themselves to know they're going to be in the right before they do something like that. And I think that's the case with this gentleman.
I don't know this one state patrolman's name, but I really like him. I know him like if he stops me. He kind of stopped me one time in the Dollar General parking lot because he loves my Blues Brothers car. Younger guy, brunette, but he's on top of it because I know there's been times where I was in Skyline and they get a call and out the door he went.
I'm sure I know him. Probably one of my troops.
Yeah, and he's a great guy, young kid, but he's kind of tall. And he said, "Man, I've been wanting to look at this car." And so finally, at the Dollar General one day, he was happened to be in there. I was in there. And he gave it the big once over.
Cool.
So, yeah, cars are. You never know what you're going to see with cars, though. And there's a guy that come to a cruise in last year. You wonder, it must have been street legal, but he had a little red wagon, the size of like a small bus.
Oh wow!
And he's driving this thing around. It's a Radio Flyer wagon, and he turns just like a car.
I've seen. Yeah, that's cool.
And it's neat as heck, but you go wonder, is that legal? Yeah. Or like in Gatlinburg, you see the boats going down the road. That's cars. No.
You talking about getting stopped? Somebody. I remember when I was a senior in high school, I had the patrolman stop me one morning. I was going to school. I had a 57 Ford, and this thing looked like crap because I was putting parts off different ones, good parts off different ones, all different colors, and and he pulled me over and he stopped me and we went through the whole thing, and it was a little loud, but he wasn't worried about that because I'm out in the country.
Right.
But he said, I've seen you a few times, and he said, I just wondered about this thing, and he said, this thing's in good shape, and he said, it's solid. He said, you just must be just rebuilding it, and I said, yeah. Well, I had it done under the hood, and I popped the hood on it, and it had 312 in it, and it was under the hood all painted up and everything. And he's like, wow, you know. And he says, I just had to see it. He said, that's all. He said, where you headed? And I said, school. And he said, well, get out of here then.
Yeah.
He said, you're going to be late. Don't be speeding.
You should have said, can I have a pass?
Yeah.
Have a note, you know.
Don't be speeding. Get out of here.
Well, now I tried to get you pinned down on telling us some fun stuff, but you won't do that.
No.
But
No, I've heard you tell us. Oh, when I got picked up this time, when I got picked up one day, when I got picked up, I've never heard him say that.
I listen. I'm not free of, you know, having a little history myself. I can't get people ammunition stuff against me. You know, I gotta be. I'm a figure in the community. I gotta be careful.
I probably have a bunch of stories I could tell on
Donald.
Roman Rack. Yeah,
Yeah.
Donald. Yes.
I do too. No. Donald was. I worked with him when I was a sergeant here at Wilmington. He was one of my troops, and then when I came back as the post commander, he was promoted to sergeant at that point. But Donald's he's a great guy.
so you were the post commander here.
Yes, yeah.
But you're not now. You're the.
No, I am currently. Yeah.
You are the post
Yeah,
commander.
the lieutenant is post commander, right?
But you're the post commander.
Correct.
Jerry kept telling us the post commander hit
So
it.
he stopped my district captain.
Oh,
which is the guy that's over the entire district.
Oh, okay, all right.
Really?
That's my
but
big boss.
you said I stopped him. I stopped him the hard way. That's what's
Right,
happening.
yeah. Well, that's why I was joking. I said, you know, my district captain ran into him, so literally.
He kept telling us the commander, the head.
Yeah. He's my boss's boss, but yeah, that's Captain Bobby Hayslip, and you know, you met him. He's a tremendous guy.
I
He's a
wasn't
really
going to tell
good
anybody who he was.
guy. They can look it up.
Well, there's one funny story we had in Sabina when I was mayor there. We had a guy stop for DUI. And, you know, everybody has the radios. It wasn't CB. It was all scanners. And his mommy heard him.
Oh boy.
And mommy comes to the scene. You got her for DUI.
Oh, wow.
The same spot.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that happens. We'll have guys we'll arrest for OVI, and then someone comes up post to pick them up, and they're drunk. You know, yeah. And that happens. Then we'll have guys we'll arrest for OVI, and they'll try to sneak back to their car, and then we'll get them again. It happens. It really, you wouldn't believe it, but I'm telling you, it's.
Those are kind of stories we're looking for.
Some people are just gluttons for punishment. I'm telling you, it's unreal.
Some people just aren't very smart.
Yeah.
You know, one other little story like that you'll appreciate. Our officer went to go get keys out of the guy's car. It's real cold in the winter. He said, "Why don't you come in and get warm?" He goes in. There's a big thing of pot right there on the
lovely
on the table, and this was before it was legal. So,
right.
So he got to arrest him for that.
Oh my gosh, unreal.
People,
Yeah.
think, you know, biggest thing is be respectful. If you got a funny joke, you know, maybe tell them that. Maybe you could say, hey, I saw your boss on Wake Up Wilmington. That might get you a get out of jail free card. I don't know. You think that'd help any of them?
You could try. It doesn't hurt to try. That's what I tell people.
Just saying. So next time when you come back, stories, and especially more on the recruiting thing.
Yeah, I tell you what I might do is, if I'm able to, I might bring our sergeant that's over recruitment in with me.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
He could speak on the specifics more. I kind of gave the general gist of it, but long story short, if someone had somebody interested, stop in the patrol post, ask for me, Lieutenant Madden, and I can get them started on the process. You know, because we want to get people, we want to get good people. Is what it boils down to.
And you got one more assignment. You remember what that is?
Tell a good story, recruitment. What's the other one? Oh, Sergeant Slaughter.
Bob Matthews.
Bob Matthews, that's right. Yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you got one more. You got to watch Caught in Providence too.
Okay.
But I'm gonna bet, just from talking to you, I bet once you watch one Caught in Providence,
keep on watching.
You will
Get hooked on it.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah, I used to watch it
that
all
guy
the
is great, isn't he? That judge. I mean, he has just such a heart for people, but also the law. I mean,
He can get pretty rough though if they. Yeah.
if you're a repeat offender in his court several times, yeah, he's not going to cut you any
Who's the
slack. It's not an actor. It's a Frank.
Oh, it's real.
It's a real
okay.
court.
I thought it was like a TV show, produced like.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
It's this guy's.
Judy.
Okay, gotcha.
No,
Okay,
it's all. I mean, because this is a real. It's his courtroom in Providence.
Neat. Yeah.
And he's like a municipal court judge. Does a lot of speeding. Does a lot of the stoplight
Traffic tickets
cameras
and stuff like that.
But just the way he handles people is beautiful. It really is.
Cool.
He just.
I like hearing it.
Yeah, like I said, caught in Providence. Since Brian Sweetman corrected me there. What did I say? Lost in Providence.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. All right. Are you able to stick around anymore? Or are you out of here?
I'll probably take off before our next break.
Well, thanks for coming on.
No, it's my pleasure. I
And,
appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, and like I said, if you want to make it, you can get in touch with Rick or Jerry. You got in touch with Jerry.
Yeah, that's what I got a hold of Jerry.
And Jerry can give you my number. One reason I usually do the scheduling.
They've got your number, Charlie.
They do probably.
I'm watching Jerry's real tough now.
Yeah, Jerry. Jerry thought it was funny because you guys all treated him like he was an old man that day.
He is an old
No, I don't think so.
They kept telling him go sit in the car because it was cold.
Yeah.
It was cold, yeah.
Jerry thought it was just because he knew you guys were going to give your boss a bunch of crap.
Well, yeah, that came after the fact. Like I said, it's like that happens, and you don't want to be the guy that makes fun of somebody who does that because you're going to be next.
Right.
So, yeah. And I've been there before, so I don't want to.
What goes around comes around.
Exactly right.
I tell you, if I get caught speeding, I think the reason I will ever get caught speeding again is because, and I think this happens a lot, but you start thinking about other things. You're daydreaming.
Right.
You think about and.
instead of focus.
Yeah, I try to use cruise control as much as possible for that reason, because, yeah. How many times you go down the road, especially like after you get off the interstate, and you go from 65 or 70 to 55.
Oh, yeah,
and it's like, oh crap! I gotta slow down.
Yeah.
I wish cars still had the alarm on them that told you when you were speeding.
Really?
They used to have that.
I never ever drove a car. Yeah.
They had that years ago. They had it on there, and you hit a certain speed, and it would give you a buzzer.
Interesting.
And I can't.
Have you ever seen any of those?
No.
I think it was on
I heard that you had a buzz, but I don't know.
No. You know what? I don't drink, and one thing I absolutely will not do, if I go somewhere and I happen to have a drink, I will not drive. I won't do it. I
Well,
don't
you can
care.
get away with one.
I won't. If I drink a beer, if I drink anything, I won't drive.
Last question, then we'll get you out of here.
Yes, sir.
And I'm mainly am asking this for myself. If you do have to, have to do one of those tests. I mean, I've seen him have to say the ABCs backwards. Hell, I can't. I can't say the ABCs backwards. Now I have to think about it.
I couldn't either.
But walking a straight line, hell, my balance isn't very good anyhow.
I can't.
Sure.
So, I mean, do you guys take that into consideration for people who are just
absolutely.
fat?
So you're talking about field sobriety tests.
Right.
So all that stuff. So whenever you're making an OVI arrest, it's the totality of the circumstances. That's like the legal term, right? So we're doing the field sobriety test. We're taking into account someone's age, their physical ability. We're taking into account their, things we can observe about the person.
That's why they
their
made me go
eyes,
sit
the
down in the
odor,
car.
alcohol, about their breath, their driving behaviors. So we're not making the arrest based on the field sobriety test line. We're making the arrest based on the totality, the circumstances, everything. Now, the field sobriety tests are a big part of that, obviously, right? We're doing the horizontal gaze, the stagmus. We're checking their eyes. We're doing the walk and turn and the one-leg stand test. But those are all standardized, scientifically proven tests. And basically how it works is that those tests have been, so many studies have been done on them, and you correlate those with a certain breath alcohol content, how many clues you get on each test. It's something that's been studied and verified over time, and it's also the experience of the officer that's able to interpret those tests properly that also coincides with the person being impaired or not.
Has anybody ever refused to take those tests and
All
just
the
say,
time.
well, then just say, just give me the breathalyzer?
Oh yeah, sure.
Just get this over with.
You'll have people that'll do that. I mean, with OBIs, I've made hundreds of OBI arrests over my career, and you'll see everything where the guys will do everything. Then you'll walk up to the window and be like, "Hey, I smell alcohol. I need you to step out." And they'll tell you from the get-go, like, "I've not had anything to drink, and I'm not doing any field sobriety tests from the get-go." So it varies in range in terms of people doing the test or not, and that's why it's all the more important just to
But will they
use your best judgment.
Will they do has anybody ever just said, I can't do that stuff, just give me the breathalyzer?
Oh, I've had that happen before, sure, yeah. They don't do the field test and then they'll just take the breath test. Yeah, sure, they'll do that.
I'm just
Did you ever have anybody just flat tell you, hey, I know I've drank too much?
I've had it. Oh, yeah. And you're like, I guess that's that honesty part,
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had people tell me, they're like, you got me, I'm impaired,
And you're talking $5,000. When that happens, you're talking about
for them
$5,000.
getting representation for attorneys and stuff.
Yeah.
I would say that's not inaccurate.
Yeah, $5,000. And I noticed that lately in the municipal court, it's like basically $250 fine, pretty much anything, whether it's seatbelt, speeding, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure, absolutely. Sir. Thanks for having me.
Yep. And
absolutely, my pleasure.
I think it was
Good seeing
very
you again.
interesting.
Yeah.
And we'd love to have you back.
I will be back. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Yep.
Are animals using your house as their new home? Spring is around the corner, and so is birthing season for wildlife. Give us a call today if you are hearing noises in your attic or under your house. Here at Diamondback Wildlife Extraction, we can take care of your wildlife removal needs and repairs. Nuisance wildlife can be very destructive to your house, such as chewing on or through electrical wiring and much more. Call us today to book an appointment for inspection at 937-302-6372. We strike back.
City Council surprisingly votes 4-3, banning citizens from dressing up their puppies.
Mere days before the local kennel club's National Puppy Jamboree.
It's a canine conundrum.
And City Hall has blood on its paws.
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett.
Feel-good stories we make up just for you every Monday morning, plus the latest on what's coming to the Murphy Theater in Wilmington, Ohio on The Murphy Report.
Your mistrusted name in made-up news.
The Murphy Report. Find us on the Murphy Theater website and our YouTube channel.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Amanda, but I dress up both of my dogs, Claire and Wally.
Let me guess. Bonnie and Clyde.
Nope.
Abbott and Costello.
Nope.
Mickey and Minnie.
Close. William Gibbs McAdoo and the first of his 3 wives, Sarah Hazelhurst Fleming.
Of course, the Treasury Secretary under Woodrow Wilson.
And his wife. The Murphy Report. Remember, if it's news to you,
it's news to us.
Roller Haven is located at 1640 U.S. Highway 22 Northwest, Washington Courthouse, Ohio. The perfect place for a day out with the family, birthday parties, and even an organization, event, or fundraiser. Check out our website, rollerhavenwch.com. Or give us a call at 740-335-6481, and we can help plan your event. We look forward to seeing you there.
Nursery rhyme historians uncover the truth about Jack and Jill.
there was no hill to climb, and new clues cast doubt on there ever being a pail. What could be next? The tortoise and the hare living together?
I'm Amanda Martin.
And I'm Steve Burnett. The nursery rhymes may be made up, but the only thing made up here is the news.
That's right, Steve. On the Murphy Report. With a new report every week beginning Monday morning on the Murphy Theater website and our YouTube channel.
Hard-hitting, cutting-edge, and a third less fulfilling.
With veteran news anchors Vanessa Del Rey and Breck Stone.
A combined 415 years in the news business.
It's made up news you can count on to get you through your day.
And put you to sleep at night, just like me with my warm milk and cookies. And a plethora of heart-related medications.
Plus all the real news on what's coming to the Murphy Theater.
Ohio's hometown theater in downtown Wilmington.
That's on the Murphy Report.
Remember, if it's news to you,
it's news to us.
Joe, you want to come up, fill in the last?
He's going to put his arm around me.
He won't.
Never know.
Let's get personal. Hey, we're singing. Personal. Sing with us. Let's get personal. Personal. There we go. Sunday, fun day.
What'd you think?
Your host, Dr. Jeffrey Schusler and Sarah Fife from 5 to 8.
Now we've got
Talking
law
about
enforcement, the lawbreaker.
Yeah, interpersonal relationships studied from 5 to 8. We're going to have several different editions. The old people edition, the young people edition, and the mammal edition. All right. All right, well, it's birthday time. It's happy birthday time.
we went
it's happy
from-
birthday time.
We went from
We went-
Lieutenant Madden to Joe Lawless Davis.
Yeah. We went from the highway patrol to I fought
Get out
the
of my
law
road,
and the
I'm coming
law
through.
won. All right, Jeff Satterfield is 29 today. 29 today. Sorry, Jeff. He's one of our mailmen in Samina. Sparky Spanks is 49 today. Nick Hadley is 33. Pam Thornburg is 61. Mike Warp Smith, his birthday's today. Savannah Trevino, her birthday. Axel Spence. Leanne Campbell, 42. Tracy Rankin is 50. Keith Whiteman's birthday today. Leanna Hess is 78. Sandy Hammond, her birthday today. She had a wrong age written down, so I'm not sure. I'm going to guess Sandy's probably 55. Lois Williams, 72. And Darren Davis is 58. You guys got any birthdays you want to add, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about, you gonna live?
No.
Well, let's talk about some celebrity birthdays. The first one is Clyde Davies. Clyde Davis. He is the Arista record producer, Clyde Davis. He produced a lot of albums, 70s, 60s, 80s.
78.
Huh? What you got?
He said 70 what?
8.
That's too low.
Oh,
I'm gonna say that's too young.
I said 86.
That's too young.
Huh?
Wow.
I'm gonna say 94.
Just a little high.
Wow.
93.
93. There you go. Robert Downey Jr.
73.
Actor. No, that's too old.
Okay. 64.
Too old.
51.
Way too young.
51 is way too old?
Young.
Yeah.
51 to 64. It's bracketed. Robert Downey Jr.
59.
59 is just a little low.
I just like
60.
saying that number.
60. There you go. Jamie Lynn Spears.
Oh.
She's Brittany's sister.
Brittany's younger sister.
Her little sister. And actually, I think she was always kind of more attractive than Brittany.
Yep.
38.
38 is high.
34.
Yep. 34. That's right.
Good.
Craig T. Nelson, actor,
Oh yeah.
coach.
Coach.
Don't all jump in at the same
I
time.
know.
78.
81.
You know, this is only a 2-hour show, guys.
81 is correct. Joe Davis brings in with the right answer. David E. Kelly. He was a
He's a
producer,
writer.
producer for shows like NYPD Blue, The Practice.
74.
74. It's lower. It's lower. No,
Too young.
74. No, 74 is too high.
Okay. Oh, you said too low.
64.
Rick's 69. Still got a chance.
Yeah, I'll try it. 69.
69. There you go. That's right. David Cross. Now, this guy, you'd have to look at him, but he's like a comedian, but he's an actor. He actually has been, I think he was like one of the aliens in Men in Black 2. Plus, he was in Arrested Development. David Cross.
58.
58.
That's what I started to say.
That's a little low.
65.
Bracketed.
62.
Bracketed between 58 and 62.
59.
60.
You guys both missed it. 61.
And Vicky got it, of course.
The last one, Jalen Carter. I think he's getting ready to be drafted. Isn't he one of the top draft picks? Football player?
Who's he play for?
Georgia, right now. He's getting ready to be in the
We
draft.
don't talk about that.
That's SEC.
That gives you an idea how old he is, though.
Well, if he's from Georgia, that means he's 27, getting ready to graduate.
Too old.
24.
Davis, you throwing shade.
24 is just a little high.
23.
23. There you go. In memory today, we have Heath Ledger, David White. Do you remember who David White was, Joe?
Nope.
You do. Larry on Bewitched.
Yeah, you watch all those
The
old
white-haired
shows.
guy?
Yeah. Yeah. David White.
Oh,
yeah.
White.
Yeah,
Yes.
David
Right.
White.
I don't know why
Yeah.
I was thinking W-R-I-G. Right.
Anthony Perkins.
Oh, he's old.
Tony Perkins.
Yeah. Psycho. Oh, that's what I was going to do today.
I saw a movie where he was younger and he played a basketball player, dribbling, was supposed to be fancy dribbling and all that stuff back in the day.
All right, we've got one more. Maya Angelou. She is her
It's a pure female.
her birthday. Yeah. All right, I've got another little warm-up question before we play our main game.
Here we go. He's trying to stuff every game he can.
Vowels in reverse order. These 1, 2, 3 words have all the vowels in them in reverse order. So instead of A-I-O-U, it's U-O-I-E-A. Anybody want to guess?
The reason for this?
Just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
Lord.
The first 2 of
Words,
them,
3 vowels.
2 of them start with un. So I'll give you a little hint.
The uncolon.
Unbelievable.
Where's the A?
I don't know. Just it was pretty close. Yeah, there's no A.
Well, this is going over big, Charlie.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to give a hint.
You're not going to have time to play chain connection.
Joe, that's just such a beautiful hat you have today. Not
Unattractive.
uncomplimentary.
Yeah, this is
Uncomplimentary.
Big.
Well, I only got so much to work with here, Rick. The next one is below the line, below the dirt line.
Under.
It's sub.
Terranean.
Close. Sub.
Standard.
What do we? There's 7 of them.
So,
Well, I only see 4
There's 7
right
of
now.
them.
The
Sub.
4 sitting at the table.
North America, Europe, Asia, Southern. Oh my God! I'm telling you the answer. Subcontinental.
yeah.
Subcontinental.
Lord have mercy.
And the last one.
I think it got a little breakfast,
Yeah.
These guys, well, subcontinental, yeah. These guys, it's obviously why they can't get these because they're
Educated.
We got that.
That's not it. That's funny.
We all came up with that at the exact same time.
Unconscionable. I don't know.
I didn't see that coffee cup there. It was
Vegetable.
huh?
Yeah.
I didn't see that there. It's
Unbelievable. I don't know.
And his hints are even worse.
Yeah.
If you can't say it, it's like that.
Recognizable.
unnoticeable. Unnoticeable.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You guys-
It's noticeable.
Well, wait, would that end with E instead of
It's
A?
time for a break, guys.
Yeah.
Is it time for a break? Okay, well, we come back, we'll play Chain Connection.
Oh, we won't have time.
Oh, we got plenty of time. We got plenty of time.
Indulge in a variety of mouth-watering dishes, from juicy burgers and fresh salads to stacked sandwiches, delicious pizzas, warm soups, crispy fries, and finger-licking wings. Every bite is crafted with care using hand-grinded and breaded ingredients made right here in-house. Whether you're dining solo or with family or hanging out with friends, we have something to satisfy every craving. That's the Rusty Keg in Washington Courthouse, the best fries in town.
He's the Howard Sprague of his community, a leader of several groups, living with his parents and dating one of the most eligible professional women in town.
But he's in no hurry to settle down and put that ring on her finger. The wait is maddening.
If they both weren't so darn adorable, could it be nerves?
Or just enjoying the bachelor life a wee bit too much.
America's Couple sits down for an in-depth interview to share how they keep their relationship so fresh while keeping such a safe distance from one another. On the Murphy Report.
I know I can't wait.
But evidently they both can. The Murphy Report with veteran anchors Vanessa Del Rey and Breck Stone.
With a new report posted on our Murphy Theater website and YouTube channel every Monday morning.
The Murphy Report.
Remember, if it's news to you,
It's news to us.
Are animals using your house as their new home? Spring is around the corner, and so is birthing season for wildlife. Give us a call today if you are hearing noises in your attic or under your house. Here at Diamondback Wildlife Extraction, we can take care of your wildlife removal needs and repairs. Nuisance wildlife can be very destructive to your house, such as chewing on or through electrical wiring and much more. Call us today to book an appointment for inspection at 937-302-6372.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we got 4 contestants today. So Uncle Punky, since I don't know, I like you better than Rick. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna let you pick. You can either pick your column. Well, first of all, you got to pick your teammate. Pick your teammate. Rick, Jerry, or Joe.
I'll go Jerry.
I like it dragged into this.
All right, because it's 2 against 2.
You be careful.
So all right, so it's Rick.
That's all right.
Oh God.
Rick and Joe as a team. What column?
That's scary.
What column do you want, Joe? You want column or you want to go first?
Joe will answer all the answers
He
because I
wants
can't get a word in edgewise.
Joe, do you want to go first or the column?
Column A.
Column A. So that means you guys are going first.
And you're gonna have to put us on the clock today because we don't have much time.
We got plenty of time. Stop
Go
it.
10, 15, isn't it?
Cat W.
Stevens.
What'd you say?
Cat W.
Cat W, Cat Stevens. That's what I got as a partner.
I know.
No.
Whose turn is it?
Sarah.
Theirs.
Oh.
Catwalk. Catwalk.
Catwalk is right. All right.
He knows about that one.
All right.
No, it's Cat House.
Walk
That's what I knew
A.
about.
Is it Cat Williams?
No. Walk A. Careful, Jake will screenshot that and send it to Cat. Here you go.
Walk away.
Walk A.
Hey.
What you got?
That is a good answer.
What?
Kinda. You wanna go with
Joe,
that?
I'm setting
Walk
them
away.
up.
Go ahead.
Goodness. Oh, walk away.
All right.
Joe, see Joe, that's my.
All right. Here
Way
we
to go, Bill.
Joe and Rick. Dog C.
Collar.
Dog collars, right? Okay.
Oh, I wear
Collar.
one.
Collar B.
Collar B?
Yep.
Collar B.
Oh, I know that one.
Walk A.
That's not column B.
Collar.
Collar B.
Like a collar.
What is it, Joe?
Yeah, what is it? I got the first one. This is yours.
I know we don't do it that way. Collar B.
He's in deep thought, folks.
Only have 2 minutes left.
5,
Says walkabout.
4, 3,
You're getting international.
2, 1. Yes?
Collarbone.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
Collarbone is right. Did somebody come on and say that?
Yeah, Michelle.
Thanks, Michelle.
Bone S.
Bone S?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not what I was saying.
Bone S.
No, Rick, it's not stiff.
It's not boner, no. Bone S.
Well, that would be an E.
Yeah. Bone S.
Bone F or S?
S.
That's
I think that's what I thought.
I don't think that's a bone in the body.
Put you on the clock. 5, 4.
Bone spur.
Bone spur.
I like that.
All right, here you go. You guys had catwalk and walk AL.
Walk alone?
Oh, shit.
What's the matter, Davis? That's the most
Can you muzzle him?
No.
the most of your at.
So Rick give you an answer. Is that the one you want to go with?
No, I don't know about that one.
There are 2 of them, 2 bone spurs up there. Michelle and Ann Ewing. Oh, and Vicki Kendall. We got 3 spurs.
Walk AL. You gonna go with the evil emperor?
I was going to go with the Evil Emperor.
What are you gonna go with?
You already said it.
What are you gonna go with? Gonna go with that?
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna, yeah.
Very regrettably, yeah. That's right.
Oh, wow.
Wow, was right.
Who was it that was right?
I knew it was right. I
said
thought of it before Rick said it, but I kept my mouth shut.
Michelle had a better one, Walkabout.
Yeah.
I like that better.
But I didn't think this was the international version, so.
A-L, walkabout.
That's true. It's not.
Yeah.
That's true. Alone T.
Shut up.
I didn't say it.
Alone T.
Alone time. Time.
Alone time.
That is right. Alone
That's what
time.
I thought of. The first thing that popped in my mind, it was like,
Time S. As in sucker. Time S.
I'd say timeshare.
There we go. Yeah.
Timeshare.
Timeshare?
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
That is a good answer, but it's wrong. Okay.
Oh well.
So you guys, what was your last one? You got collar.
in a letter. Or S.
No, you got
Was that
collar.
last one boner?
You got bone. Yeah, you got collar bone. So now it's
Yeah.
bone
that's right.
S-A.
Bone S.A.?
Yeah.
No, it's not spent, Jeff.
Bone S-A.
S.A. Not S.P. Square, sheet.
I know that.
What? That's not S.A.
Square could be for the other one.
Yeah, I
maybe.
know.
That might be for the other one.
Joking here.
Bone S.
Dave?
A.
What do you got?
Bone S-A.
What do you got, Davis?
I'm trying to think of, you'd like a bone salad, but.
Give him the clock. Give him the clock.
S.A.
5, 4, 3. No hints? 2.
Yeah, where's your hand?
No, on there. Bone saw. You want to go with that?
Okay, let's go with that.
Bone saw is right.
Going
Saw,
up the alphabet, I hadn't got the S yet.
saw,
I'm trying to hold up my end.
saw D.
Dust.
Saw.
Dust.
Sawdust.
Okay, sawdust.
We're on a roll, Joe. We're on a
Yeah.
roll.
They got the easy call.
Dust.
Win.
No, not yet. Dust B.
Mold. Dust bowl.
The Dust Bowl.
That's right. Now for the win.
All right.
Man, Mark's like, dang it. Bowl C.
Mold C.
I was thinking bowl of cereal, but that's,
That
yeah.
doesn't work. Mold C.
Oh,
Come on, we gotta get this because they're gonna end up pulling this one out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
Gonna have to put the
we
clock
got
on him because
Hey, quiet now. I'm gonna mute his mic.
Bowl C. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Time SQ.
you got it. Go.
Times Square.
Times Square. That's right.
For the win. Oh.
No.
the second letter like Q, yeah.
Oh, well, that's what the second letter is. Square R.
Square root.
Square root.
Wife's out here, Charlie.
Is she?
Yep, she's giving us hints.
All right. Root. Now, this one to me, well, it's kind of a stretch.
No.
Root V.
V.
Yeah, like vasectomy. Root V.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
No peeking.
Hey, not cheating. Yeah.
Root vasectomy.
That kind of makes sense too if you think about it. Root V.
They used to have these pins that were V's that you wear in your lapel.
If you don't get it,
Whatever
they're going to win if you don't get it.
Oh, I
You just keep
know.
your mouth shut.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just talking about the vasectomy.
Root V.
Oh.
These guys would wear
Root
this
vein?
pin that had a V. and that would indicate that they had a vasectomy.
What?
5, 4.
It's better than anything I got.
3.
Rachel says root vein.
1.
Root vein, that is not right. Okay, back to Rick and Joe.
This is a lock, Joe.
Yeah.
This is for the win. Bowl CU. Bowl cut. No, it's right.
Thank you.
All right, now you guys root VE.
Vegetable.
Michelle says vegetable.
That's it.
Really?
That's why I said it was a little stretch. Yeah.
That'd be, what's that, like a carrot?
Well,
Carrot? Turnip?
Well, you know, root can go a lot of
Yeah, I
different ways.
know.
You know, you root
Yeah, that was nothing
protein,
related
you
to
got root
that
the ground. I mean, there's a lot of.
Yeah. Is a root vegetable like a carrot or a turnip or what is that?
Yeah, I would imagine it would be.
Wait, peanut?
That's the
Or
worst
like
thing
a,
about listening for those. You're always
What
like
else you
5
got on
minutes
there?
behind.
I've got-
Vegetable what?
Michelle says darn lag.
That's it.
That's it?
All right. I do have a final thought for today.
That was our last word?
Yeah.
Really?
You lost.
Yeah, you guys lost.
Damn.
Get over it.
Too loud.
Get over it.
This is a Maya Angelou quote. Love is like a virus.
Amen.
Like an
That all depends on where you go.
STD.
Love is like a virus. It can happen to anybody at any time. Even Joe Davis.
That's not that profound.
Only time I drank.
That's Maya Angelou. There you go. She's a great civil rights poet, writer. She's big civil rights person, but mainly known for poetry. Yeah, Maya Angelou.
Well, how poetic was that?
Well, that's pretty good. She's got some others here. Since you asked, let me.
What was your word of the day?
I haven't got there yet.
Big W from Jen. What's Big W?
History, big W, win.
Oh.
History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived. But if faced with courage, need not be lived again. That's a good one.
And Michelle's got a carrot on there and a turnip.
Well, at least she doesn't have what's those eggplants or
There we
something.
go.
There you
Now,
go.
eggplants don't grow on the ground, Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Let's see.
Pickles don't either. They
If
don't
you
pop.
find it in your heart to care for somebody else, you will have succeeded. These are all Maya Angelou's. They're nice and short. I like that.
True. Who's coming on tomorrow, Charlie?
Tomorrow, nobody.
Saturday.
Tomorrow, nobody.
April Fool's joke here.
Now, tonight, I'm going to be down in Greenfield watching a concert.
Was there any April Fool's jokes on April 1st?
I don't know what it means.
I always talking about. All right.
You may get rained out tonight.
Did you do any April Fool's jokes?
No, this is inside.
Oh.
This. Yeah, we did one. All right. Promised Land is going to be tonight at I think it's Chapel of Hope down in Greenfield, 7 o'clock. 12986, free will offering, plus they have food for this. 7 o'clock, Chapel of Hope, State Route 41.
Well, they got it to Murphy tonight.
Somebody's eyes just widened up when you said food.
Yep. Yeah. So let's Chapel. Let me know if you go. We'll sit together. Promised Land.
Somewhere else.
Chris Minsler said they're really good, so we're going to go down and watch them. Tomorrow night, I'm supposed to be DJing in Greenfield, 4 to 8. And it was supposed to be outside originally, but they have already got a place where it's going to be inside. And it's like they're calling it a bunny hop. I don't know how well attended this is going to be, but it's like a kids type dance, 4 to 8. That's Murphy tonight. You got Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner, 7 o'clock. And then tomorrow is a group called Over the Rhine. They're a folk type group, and they're local. They're out of Cincinnati.
I guess there was a Rhine. I bet you're out of Cincinnati.
Yeah, they are. They are. So that's what's going on here tonight and tomorrow night. Appreciate all of you coming on. Uncle Punky, you were still kind of quiet today. Oh yeah, even Joe.
Even Joe.
We love Joe.
He brought the donuts.
That's right.
That's
brought you a snack.
Yeah.
Those things are good.
And Jerry is a fan. I would have ate some of those today, but I've had tooth pulled.
I was telling Joe, Brandy told me about these.
No.
All right.
Was that talking to me or you?
We're out.
She was asking if I
We're
got
out of here. We